Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today I wanted to give you guys a look at my cantina. That is my Mos Eisley Cantina diorama, as you can see on the bottom shelf. And just above that is my Jabba the Hutt's Palace diorama, which we will look at in a later video. But for today I want to focus on my Mos Eisley Cantina. Alright, so I began my Mos Eisley Cantina diorama back in 2003 when Hasbro released a series of 3 figures that were packed with bar sections. They had Greedo, Moma Nadon, and Ponda Baba, and all 3 of those came packed with a section of bar that you could connect. And those were Walmart exclusives. They retailed at the time for $10. And from there, what started as a little display on my shelf of 3 little bar sections and a few figures quickly grew into an all-out diorama. I then ordered the backdrop that you can see here, which is the Kenner 3D diorama that they offered back in around 1998 or so. And it came packed with a Sand Trooper figure who is not present here since he is so outdated. And then from there, I just started adding more and more figures as Hasbro released them. And, stuck them in the diorama, arranged them, played with them, to get them into a pretty good arrangement. And for the better part of 11 years, this diorama was set up at my parents' house in Texas. And I was out there visiting them very recently, and, it was time to start shipping things from my parents' to my husband and I's house out here in California, and that's what we did. So we sent a lot of things over, and included were both of these dioramas, so, I'm very happy to have them here in my home on display to enjoy. Now, I did have to do some trimming to the cardboard backdrop in order to get it to fit onto the shelf. I had to splice a few things and, rearrange a few things. But I think the end result is quite good. Now, I did cut out the cardboard bar section that came in the diorama. And in place of it, I used the actual plastic bar sections that have been coming with figures for a while now. And I wasn't able to use all of them. I wasn't able to create a full-length bar because of the limitations of this shelf that I have the figures on. But I did put my extra 2 sections over to the side for other figures to sit on, which isn't exactly film accurate, but it works. And I do have a couple more bar sections I might be able to stick in here later. I did remove the bar stools from the plastic bar section since they're not film accurate, though I did leave them over there for those guys to sit on. So let me go ahead and give you a rundown of what's going on here in this diorama from left to right. I did try my best to replicate things that we saw in the Mos Eisley Cantina in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, so I could create a pretty good recreation from the film. So to begin with, when we first enter the Mos Eisley Cantina, we see him Dazon, the little guy holding the drink there with the blue liquid in it. We see his head pop up, and then he kind of tilts his head to the side. That's him right there, and if you look in that scene behind him, you can see Pons Limbic, who's in the green outfit, aka Brainiac, and then Bom Vimdim, who is sitting there next to him. We don't have our Leel Schloos, who is a Defel Wolfman. So Hasbro never made a figure of that one. It's the one with the red glowing eyes that George Lucas cut out of the special edition. And so I put Lax Sivrak there, who was also cut out of the special edition and was featured in a later moment in the Cantina. And then I have my Power of the Jedi Zutton Snaggletooth in the red Michael Jackson Thriller outfit, sitting right there. And I believe he was actually featured in that outfit in the Star Wars Holiday Special. Next to them, we have Garandan, the long snoot spy, who is, kind of walking around, seeing if he can recover the droids or, whatever he's trying to do for the Empire. At the very back of the cantina, next to the stairs, there is the Droid Detector. And if you look in Star Wars A New Hope, that's the little thing that goes off when C-3PO and R2-D2 walk in before the bartender's like, hey, your droids will have to wait outside. We don't want them here. And next to that, we have Labria, who is a Davronian, I believe. And, very creepy looking. This is the Saga Collection repainted version from, the Walmart exclusive wave from 2006 or so. Originally, it was a Power of the Force figure, but was, dressed in all black. And in front of him, we have Ketwall and Dice Ibegon, who you may recall kind of look at each other in the film. And that's actually where Lax Sivrak was, but, for whatever reason, George Lucas thought Lax Sivrak looked too much like a werewolf, you know, looked too much like something you might associate with planet Earth, so he said, hey, let's put an elephant there instead. And back there we have Muftek, who is that large fellow in the back. If you recall in the film, he had a little thing on his chin or something that he would play with his mouth and make funny sounds with. That's the Power of the Force 2 release, which is actually a 2-pack. I believe it may have been a Star Wars Insider or StarWars.com exclusive way back then. That came with another figure. And next to him is Mayo, who's one of my favorite Cantina aliens. He's a Cyclops looking dude with one eye. That was from the post-original trilogy collection back in early 2005. And then we have Dapur, who was part of the Star Wars line in 2002. And this is another scene you see in the film, you know, these three guys interacting at a table. Now, beyond that, we have two Jawas who are kind of just strolling through the cantina, doing their thing, you know, talking, whatever. These are the repainted versions from the original trilogy collection. And then that brings us to our bar section here in the center, where we have Wooher, who is serving drinks. Wooher is from the Power of the Force 2 lineup from 1999, I believe. And he's the one that came packed with the Droid Detector back there in the very back. And, you know, he's serving drinks to the loyal Cantina bar patrons. I tried to arrange these guys as best I could, you know, according to where they were in the film. In the back, there's Lee Sub Serum, who was an alien actually was not aware of as being in the canteen until the figure came out, which was pretty cool. And I don't think she was there quite in the film. I don't know where she was situated, but, you know, I placed her there anyway. And I've always thought she's pretty cool. She looks kind of like a 1950s, you know, alien chick kind of thing. Then we have Chek Kalfos, who is the Trandoshan character that you see there. In the cantina, in the movie, you see him talking to a small person where he's kind of like laughing or something. And he places his hand down on a glass. So I kind of try to replicate that here. Hasbro never made a figure of the small person, so instead I put Cabe, who came in a 2-pack with Nubrin Leeds, this guy in the silver, as the Walmart exclusive wave in the Saga collection in 2006. If you look in the movie, you also see that Cabe is kind of reaching out to grab a glass from the bartender, so that's what I tried to do here. And Cabe looks kind of like a bat or something. Beyond that, we have Janek Jericho smoking something out of that little contraption he has there on his hip. Hasbro made him with the proboscises, which means that he had 2 long antennas that came on his face. That's why there's 2 holes there. Because in the expanded universe, he was a vampire, and, you know, he would use those to suck the brains out of his victims. Don't know why Hasbro decided to do that for the figure, because once you take him out, it doesn't look that good. But, you know, that's the only version we have, so that's what I have to use. Back there we have Kid Cap, who is the praying mantis-looking chick back there in the hula dress. One of my favorite Cantina aliens, too, just because it's so random and so weird. And she was situated there in the Mos Eisley Cantina. And next to her, and behind Obi-Wan, we have Boshek, who, of course, introduced Obi-Wan to Chewbacca. And we have here Obi-Wan taking notice that Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba have taken a disliking to Luke, and they casted him aside by, you know, basically throwing him on top of a table. So, you know, Luke's kind of down there like, ah. And then Obi-Wan's taking action, of course. He's not going to stand by and let that happen. So Luke's too important. So he whips out his lightsaber and, you know, he attacks. Ponda Baba dismembers his arm right there. And then, you know, Dr. Evazan's next to probably be killed. That's the vintage collection, Dr. Evazan, who's a really nice figure. And then Ponda Baba is actually the 2003 release that came with the bar section. Only because I never found the vintage version at retail, and it's very, very expensive. I don't know when I'm going to be able to afford that. Beyond that, we have the Mos Eisley Cantina Band, Figrin Deanne, and the Modal Nodes. Cool name. And these were actually from the Star Wars 30th Anniversary Collection commemorative tin set, and it came with all 5 of the Cantina band members. The figure itself is a repaint of the Power of the Force 2 one, which was actually a mail-away figure. It came in a little white box, and I think it was Star Wars Insider exclusive, and basically you would get one figure, but it came with all 5 of the instruments. So if you wanted to put all 5 of the band together, you had to order the figure 5 times. For this release, they repainted it, repainted the accessories, and gave them cloth jackets, and they actually look pretty nice. Next to that, we have the Giarrusso, who I believe was the very first Fan's Choice figure back in the Power of the Jedi line. And in the movie, he's next to a similar Giarrusso in a different outfit, and Hasbro never made a figure of him, at least not yet. This guy's actually related to the Nemodians from Episode 1. So you can see the similarities in their faces. Really cool figure that looks really nice. And right here in the foreground, we have two aliens, who, if you look in the movie, you'll see them together. On the left is Feltapern Trevag, and on the right is Mylum Onith. I hope I'm saying that right. Some of these guys have really crazy names. But if you look in the film, you see her taking a drink, and she has her long nose in the glass, and, the other guy's just kind of looking at her. And they're sitting in, like, a little bar area. But, for obvious reasons, I have them standing here. And in the expanded universe, I know that, they were kind of getting together. Feltapern, the guy on the left, was kind of hitting on Mylum, who is on the right. And in the story that I recall reading, they kind of went out, like, to the back of the cantina or something afterward, and she killed him. Yeah, so no bueno. And then beyond that, we have my absolute favorite Cantina alien, Moma Nadon Hammerhead, on the right side with his staff. And then to his left, we have Trinto Duwaba, who came in a 2-pack with Dice Ebigon right there, back in the Legacy collection around 2009 or so. And he in his own right is a really nicely done figure too, very nicely done. And, these two guys were also at a table together in the movie. Beyond that, again, this isn't in the movie, but I created a little bar section area with my 2 extra bar sections that I didn't use for the main bar. And when I cut out the cardboard bar from the center of the diorama, I used the drink dispenser cardboard piece and just moved it over here. And, kind of did the trick of, livening things up just a little bit. So back there I have a Rodian. I like to say it's a Greedo because, there were other Rodians wandering around Mos Eisley, but, this could have very well been Greedo, just kind of, watching Chewbacca, figuring, hey, wherever Chewbacca is, Han Solo is close by. So, that's Greedo. Then we have Tequila, who is a Snaggletooth figure, and came in a 3-pack, which was a Target exclusive a few years ago. And next to him is Elis Hellrot, who, is the very sunken, skull-looking alien figure, sitting there on a stool and having a drink. And then we have Wissolia, who is a very ugly alien. She's the one that Luke sold the land speeder to once they left the cantina. I have her facing the other way because she's pretty ugly. All right, guys, so yeah, there you have it. That's my Mos Eisley Cantina diorama. This is absolutely one of my favorite parts of my collection. I love having these guys on display. The Mos Eisley Cantina scene from the first Star Wars movie is my absolute favorite scene in the whole saga. And it's just a lot of fun, seeing the colorful menagerie of aliens that are in there. Just a really fun scene, the music, the way that it's shot and edited. It's just a really great scene. Very memorable, of course. And, I really love having this and being able to look at it because, it's fun to recreate things. I like recreating things. And, this is a very rare instance where, Hasbro gave you the means to go all out with replicating a scene from the films. And I think they did a really nice job, with the pieces and figures that they made so that I could accomplish this. Hope you guys enjoyed looking at my Mos Eisley Cantina diorama. And our next video will be focusing on my Jabba's Palace diorama. So stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.